Ilia Topuria just broke up with his wife. According to Spanish sources, Ilia and his wife Georgina have split, and the proof is pretty clear, as they both deleted all their photos together on Instagram. Shortly after that, Ilia posted a photo of himself with the caption, "The king is coming, nobody's safe, line them up, the takeover continues."
In the fight game, every warrior has an origin story. Every champion, a moment of heartbreak that reshapes who they are. And for Ilia Topuria, the undefeated king of Spain, the Georgian storm that took over the UFC, that moment might have just arrived. Because just weeks before what could be the biggest stretch of his career, Ilia Topuria has broken up with his wife Georgina. The MMA world didn't see this coming. One minute he's celebrating his title glory, standing on top of the sport. The next, his personal life is in pieces. Photos gone, captions deleted, social media wiped clean. The couple that fans saw as unbreakable suddenly vanished from each other's timelines.
Ilia Topuria split up with his girl. This is either going to make him rise to the occasion and sleep just in case out cold, or it's going to maybe make him a little bit tentative, change his mindset a little bit. Who knows how this is going to affect him? You know, they've been together for a long time. Spanish social media are speculating about their relationship because of all of their pictures. I've checked, every picture between them has been taken down, so it'll be interesting to see how this affects Ilia.
No posts, no tags, no smiles from Fight Week, just silence. And then one single post from Ilia. "The king is coming, nobody's safe, line them up, the takeover continues." The internet exploded. Fans flooded comment sections. Some felt bad, others laughed nervously. But everyone knew what it meant. That wasn't a breakup post. That was a war cry. Because a calm Ilia Topuria is already terrifying, but a heartbroken Ilia Topuria? That's nightmare fuel. Social media detectives in Spain noticed the clues first. Then came the speculation. Did they really split? Was this just a cooling off phase? Or something deeper, something final? And as more people looked, the evidence piled up. Every trace of their relationship gone. Every shared moment erased. For a fighter who's always worn his pride like armor, the silence said everything. It wasn't an announcement, it was a statement. Behind that stoic glare and championship confidence, something personal had shattered. And the question now isn't just what happened between them, it's what happens next. Because when fighters lose love, they either fall apart or they become monsters.
The divorce they're about to go through. Because they have kids together.
Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
Find your wife.
And judging by Ilia's recent tone, he's not crumbling, he's sharpening. This is the same man who once said, "If I touch your head, it will explode." The same fighter who claimed he had the gas tank for 5 days straight. The man who said he doesn't just beat you, he breaks your spirit. Now imagine that level of obsession, fueled by heartbreak. The energy shifts, the mindset darkens, and that fire, that once calm, laser-focused energy starts to burn hotter than ever before. Ilia's always been a composed killer. Cold eyes, patient precision, no wasted motion. But heartbreak has a way of transforming people. It strips away distractions. It narrows your world to a single purpose. And for Ilia Topuria, that purpose has never changed. Destroy everything in his path until the world recognizes his name. Even Joe Rogan weighed in, saying a split like this can either elevate or destroy a fighter. He talked about that primal reaction, how some athletes channel pain into performance, while others lose focus completely. This could make him rise to the occasion, Rogan said, or it could change his mindset. Fans didn't hesitate to pick a side. Most of them agreed. A heartbroken Topuria isn't weaker. He's dangerous. Because when your personal world collapses, the cage becomes the only place that makes sense.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
Put it on Only in Date.
They want, yeah.
Best place to work out too, Miami. Because you can just walk outside and run, the water.
If we find out any reason.
The octagon turns into therapy, violence becomes expression, and the man who once fought for pride starts fighting to feel alive again. People started calling it the heartbreak power, that raw, unfiltered rage that turns emotion into dominance. We've seen it before, fighters coming off betrayal or loss, coming back scarier, hungrier, and more relentless. But the difference with Ilia is how controlled his rage looks. Even now, there's no public meltdown, no emotional interviews, just that same cold focus with a storm quietly building underneath. In interviews from just months ago, he couldn't stop praising Georgina. He called her his balance, his calm, his foundation. Together, they were a picture of stability. But now, that image has been replaced with fire. Fans are joking that whoever fights him next might not make it out conscious. One tweet read, "Whoever steps into the cage next better have a therapist on standby." Heartbroken Ilia is built different. And honestly, they might be right. Because there's a pattern in combat sports. When life breaks you, fighting rebuilds you. We saw it with Jon Jones. We saw it with Dustin Poirier. We saw it with countless fighters who turned heartbreak into history. Ilia Topuria might be walking that same path, only he's doing it undefeated. Let's not forget, this is a man who dismantled Josh Emmett, embarrassed Volkanovski, and became Spain's first UFC champion. His record speaks for itself. Not a single loss, a knockout ratio that terrifies even strikers, and grappling that humbles black belts.
There's going to be a reason why Ilia maybe snapped at that comment they did. Of course, at the time you think, oh, they're just being disrespectful, and they are. But I don't know, dude, that clip could age crazy. That clip could age crazily if we found out what reason it is. But either way, I'm done doing the gossip shit.
Now that same skill set comes with something new, pain, and pain changes everything. In the gym, it pushes you harder. In camp, it keeps you awake. And in the cage, it turns hesitation into aggression. That's the transformation people are waiting for. That's the version of Ilia Topuria that has the MMA world nervous. Even his rivals feel it. Some fighters have already spoken up, half joking but clearly uneasy. "I feel bad for whoever's next," one said. "That man's going to walk in there like he's got nothing to lose." Because heartbreak can be liberating. It strips you bare. It removes fear. You stop fighting to protect something. You start fighting because there's nothing left to protect. And that's when fighters become dangerous. The timing of all this couldn't be more intense. Topuria is on the verge of superstardom. Rumored matchups with Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, even another shot at Volkanovski. His name is everywhere, his confidence unshakable. But now there's another layer to his story, the human one, the side fans rarely see. Behind the perfect knockouts and highlight reels, there's still a man navigating heartbreak, fame, fatherhood, and the crushing spotlight of global attention. Because make no mistake, fame changes relationships. The constant travel, the fight camps, the online noise, it all adds up. And no matter how strong you are inside the octagon, you can't fight what happens outside of it. For Ilia, this could be his greatest test yet, not in skill, but in composure. Can he use the pain as fuel without letting it consume him? That's the razor's edge great champions walk. And Ilia has always balanced chaos and control like no one else. In press clips, he still sounds calm, almost unnervingly so. When asked about fighting again, he said, "I don't even need to touch his chin. If I touch his head, it will explode." That's not confidence. That's conviction. That's a man who's already made peace with destruction. He even said recently he feels more powerful than ever, and hinted at moving between divisions, ready to dominate anyone from 145 to 170. "If you want to wrestle, let's wrestle," he said, no problem. That's not a man who's distracted. That's a man who's preparing to unleash something new. Joe Rogan in the MMA community couldn't help but weigh in, even jokingly debating who has the best wife in the UFC, before realizing how messy the situation had become. What started as gossip suddenly turned into genuine concern and curiosity. How does an undefeated, laser-focused champion react to losing his foundation? Does he crumble, or does he evolve? Topuria's history suggests evolution. He's built his career on defiance. Every setback, every doubter, every opponent who said he couldn't hang, he proved them wrong. He's always been the outlier, a fighter too confident to be intimidated, too skilled to be ignored. And now, stripped of comfort, all that's left is raw hunger. Fans have noticed the change in his demeanor too. He's not smiling in training footage. He's not doing interviews for attention. He's just locked in like a man preparing for war. And when a fighter like Ilia Topuria gets quiet, that's when you should be worried. This isn't a man chasing headlines. This is a man staring at revenge, not against anyone else, but against his own pain. The world's attention has shifted. The story isn't just Ilia Topuria, the champion. It's Ilia Topuria, the storm. And storms don't ask for sympathy. They demand respect. Speculation continues over who his next opponent might be. Gaethje, Holloway, maybe even Makhachev, if he dares to drop to 155. Every name feels like a potential victim rather than a challenge. Because right now, Ilia isn't just fighting for glory, he's fighting for identity. The breakup may have taken his peace, but it gave him purpose, and purpose is far more dangerous than happiness. In this sport, emotion is fuel, and heartbreak, that's rocket fuel. Every fighter's nightmare is facing an opponent who's got something deeper to fight for. Someone who doesn't care about rankings or belts, but about redemption. That's Ilia now. He's not chasing titles, he's chasing transformation. When asked who he wants next, he doesn't talk about money fights or legacies. He just says line them up. That's the sound of a man who's ready to fight anyone, anywhere, and doesn't care about the consequences. Some fans think this could be the defining arc of his career, the moment he stops being a star and becomes a legend. Because if he channels this pain the way great champions do, we might witness one of the most ruthless versions of Ilia Topuria ever seen. And if he falls, then we see the other side, the cost of living in the fire too long. But that's the beauty of this sport. You can't script emotion, you can't predict heartbreak, and you can't fake hunger. Every fighter eventually fights two battles, one in the cage and one within themselves. For Ilia, those two are about to collide. The king is coming. Nobody's safe. And this time, he's not fighting for love, he's fighting because he lost it. So whoever stands across from him next, good luck surviving that breakup energy, because pain makes predators. And Ilia Topuria was already the apex one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next round.